What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know so. And we did a mock on Mel Kiper Jr.'s mock draft yesterday, so I thought it'd only be right to come out with my own one-round NFL mock draft. Don't worry. I know everyone's putting out 2-3 rounds. I'll be doing those too. I'll be doing a 7-rounder here soon, so stay tuned. And speaking of staying tuned, tomorrow you will get my final quarterback rankings for the 2021 NFL draft. I feel comfortable putting out the quarterback rankings because pro days don't really matter for quarterbacks. So you're going to start to see the rest of those rankings probably come out sometime after April 1st or April 2nd. April 2nd is the last real big one with Tulsa and Oregon's pro days. Then after that, the other pro days I don't really care too much about. They don't really have the high-end prospects that I am trying to keep an eye on. So expect those rankings to start pouring out after the second. But hey, you're going to just get top 10s. Unless you're a bro tier scout baby on the channel. Because if you are, you get my full rankings. You'll get my full big board once that's all done as well. So it's the best way to support the channel. It's all much appreciated, much obliged. But go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave that thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Go ahead, indulge in the nice football discourse, because I promise you're not going to like all these picks. It's just the way it is. I'm just showing you possibilities here, all right? So don't be too angry, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead. Let's get into it. Trevor Lawrence, of course. I'm not going to deviate too much. Also, I allowed myself to do some trades. Mel, he did 2 trades in his mock draft. I did 5. I had a few late ones. But we'll get into that when we get there. But yeah, this one you kind of just chalk it in stone. Chalk it in stone. I guess it's chisel it in stone. It's kind of set at this point. So let's go ahead. Go to the Jets. Oh man, you already see Dolphins too. Let's go over the Jets real quick. This is tough because I was talking about yesterday. I'm kind of right there with Mel, man. It feels like the quarterback market or the trade market for Sam Darnold's kind of shrunk. So 50-50, I'm kind of starting to think that's their quarterback. But it's still, I won't do. I'd rather just, you know what? It just didn't work out with Donald. Let's move on to a guy on a rookie deal. That way we can still be very active in free agencies in the next few years and build around him. So I went with Zach Wilson. Dolphins, no surprise. I go Penny Sewell. I would like to trade down here, but it's so difficult for teams to trade up in the just in the top 5. It's really hard to do. It's really hard to let go of all that draft capital. So I don't know if we're gonna see any trades in the top 5 this year. But I mean, we'll see. But yeah, if they can't trade out, I think Sewell's kind of the right choice here. Just help. Just get protection. Get some protection for Tua. They got Will Fuller, and I mean, this is a very good wide receiver class. They can make plays elsewhere. They don't have to do it here with like a Jamar Chase or maybe Kyle Pitts. Oh, so I went with Sewell. And then the Atlanta Falcons, Trey Lance. I just like this pick too much. If it's not going to be a quarterback, I think they should just trade out. I mean, you could say Pitts. You could say maybe they go receiver. They go a variety of different ways here, but in my opinion, if they're not able to trade out and they have to stick with this pick, let's go ahead and get a quarterback with very high upside in Trey Lance, and he could sit on the bench for the first 2 or first year or 2. Probably likely 2 years just because how Matt Ryan's cap hits would be. I think even after next season, if they release him, it's still going to be a lot of dead cap, so maybe they restructure again. But I think more than likely, just grab a guy that we can start year 3 of his NFL career, and he's ready. He's good to go. He's got huge upside. So, yeah, I got Trey Lance here. And then I got my first trade going on. I got Carolina Panthers trading up to get Justin Fields. Right now, again, with the whole Deshaun Watson thing, I don't think any of that's going to be settled by draft time. So I think the Panthers need to make a move at quarterback. So they make the move here. They jump the Eagles. Not saying the Eagles would draft a quarterback, but I'm not going to risk it if I am the Panthers. So let's just go ahead. Let's jump the Eagles. It won't cost too much to go up 3 spots with the Bengals. Bengals trading down. And I'll explain why they would do that. But we jump the Eagles. Go ahead. We get Justin Fields. He's ready to go from day one. He is kind of like the most hated on quarterback among the top 5 in this class. And I don't think he really should be. He is an excellent prospect. So, yeah, I like me some Fields. And then on to the Eagles. They go Kyle Pitts. What is it? Brandon Graham, he tweeted out, hey, the pick, it's either Chase or Pitts. I kind of like Pitts. We could address receiver later if you're the Eagles. So go Pitts, a guy that can play out wide. He can play in the slot. He can do a variety of different things. And just, you're not going to find this type of player, this type of prospect at the tight end position again for quite some time. At least that's my opinion. Pitts is just special. So we go with Pitts. And then at 7, Jamar Chase going to the Lions. Again, this would be a nice spot maybe to trade down, grab more picks. If they can't do that, then just go ahead. Let's grab a receiver. Jamar Chase, he's almost a instant replacement for Kenny Galladay. The guy's got huge upside. He's my favorite receiver, or at least my top receiver in this draft class currently. And then the Bengals, they trade down here because I just wanted to get protection for Burrow. So we went with Slater. I feel better about trading down and taking Slater here. And I won't want, if I'm the Bengals, I won't want to trade down too far just to make sure that I get him. So we grab Slater. He doesn't have to immediately come in and play tackle. Like both him and Riley Reef, you can kick one of those guys into guard, have the other play right tackle, which is that's the great thing about Slater. He has experience at right tackle. It's projected he could be a good guard player. I don't know. You could, and that's the cool thing. You could kind of rotate, see which combination is better there. With the addition of Spain, I mean this offensive line looks a lot better for Burrow already. And then the Broncos, I really wanted to trade out of this pick. We couldn't, so I went with Micah Parsons. The Broncos did a good job of addressing a lot of their needs outside of quarterback. I know there's some Drew Lock truthers out there, but you're like flat earthers. Anyway, dang, got him. But I like the idea of Micah Parsons. The only other pick I feel like we'd have to trade down at this point. Not necessarily. If they think, like, I like JOK to the Broncos. Kind of taking the Kareem Jackson role. I know they re-signed him, but again, he's he's very old. He's not on the future plans. So I don't mind taking JOK and having him kind of play in the box safety role there. But at 9, it feels it just doesn't feel like good value. I like Michael Parsons. I know a lot of people think he's gonna fall because of some character concerns. I'm not too worried about that. So I would take Parsons here. I like his ability to be a pass rusher as well, especially with Von Miller. Maybe not long for the Broncos roster in the next year or two. So Micah Parsons, he's adequate in coverage, and the dude's got a mean pass rushing upside. And then at 10, we have the Dallas Cowboys taking Patrick Surtain, man. Caleb Farley scares me. And we'll talk about that a bit later. But Patrick Surtain just came out. He proved all these naysayers wrong with his speed. I love to see it. He just put up excellent production throughout his career. I think there's really no doubt in that this guy is maybe a top 10 pick, maybe the top corner in this class. He'd be a good scheme fit for Dan Quinn. So we go with him there. He reunites with Trevon Diggs. So there we go. And then at 11, I got the Patriots trading up. The Giants, to be frank, I had no idea where I wanted to go here with the Giants. So I was like, you know what? Maybe let's just grab more picks, and then I'll decide later maybe what we should do. So I really think the Patriots want to move up for a quarterback in this class, but it's going to be extremely pricey to move up into that like top 5 to top 7 range to get one. So I just have them trade in ahead of the Niners, more importantly, because I really think they might go quarterback here. I don't know if exactly it'd be Mac Jones, but just in case, I have the Patriots. They have the draft capital to spend, so I have them moving up here, taking Mac Jones, their quarterback of the future. And then I got another trade. I got the Vikings jumping 2 picks to pick up Christian Darrisaw. This is mainly, if I'm the Vikings, I'm like, all right, Slater went a lot earlier than I expected. And the Chargers, they could go tackle. They can. So let's go ahead and just plug that right now. Let's draft up just a couple spots and take Christian Darrisaw. He's a perfect scheme fit for that offense. And then at 13, I go Devontae Smith for the Chargers. Yeah, it sucks we couldn't get a tackle, but at this point, it's like, okay, let's just grab some good value here. I like Devontae Smith. He, much like last year when the receivers fell, we saw Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb fall to, like, I think it was 16 and 17. Here, that fall won't be too big for Smith. He's still in the top 15 here at 13. Very good piece where Keenan Allen, he could slip into the slot. You could even put Smith into the slot. So it gives you a lot of versatility where you can place these guys. So you're just getting your boy Justin Herbert more weapons. So this is probably going to be the biggest, most divisive pick in this draft. Potentially, we'll see. Because it's the Niners pick. Didn't know what to do because I really wanted to get them quarterback. But like I said, it's extremely pricey to trade up there. So I went Christian Barmore, and I did this. I hate this. I did this in my most in my hated, my kind of like my meme mock draft. And the more I look at it, it's like, okay, we traded down. We actually grabbed some picks. I don't think J.C. Horn's exactly a good fit here. That would be probably in the next corner on my board. Do I want to reach for Caleb Farley with back issues? That's kind of concerning to me. So what other spots could we go? Jalen Waddle was a consideration. Ultimately, I was like, Christian Barmore is the best interior player in this class, hands down. You could say he would have been in the likes of Javon Kinlaw, Derek Brown. So why not go with him here? They have speaking of the devil, Javon Kinley there, but outside of that, on their interior, they don't have really much anything. They brought in Zach Kerr, and they have is it DJ Jones? But they could definitely improve. The Niners, they love adding talent to the defensive line. That just really makes that front four look just absolutely terrifying. It'll make the corners, it'll make their jobs a lot easier. Again, not a sexy pick, but the more I thought about it, I was like, this is just a good pick. This is just a good pick. So at 15, this is the Giants pick, and I ended up going Elijah Vera-Tucker. This one was tough too because I was like, gosh, how can I justify not going Jalen Waddle here? I know they added weapons. They have Sterling Shepard, but gosh, dude, just to add Jalen Waddle would be phenomenal. And I was looking at their offensive line, and I was like, man, that interior isn't pretty, especially with Zeitler gone. I don't trust Shane Lemieux. I know they'll have Will Hernandez on one side. Nick Gates he's fine. I think you can move him to guard, even tackle. He graded out decent, at least solid enough to take up both those spots, but you're probably going to keep him at center. And Elijah Vera-Tucker, man, he's really good. He's another guy that's like, it's just a solid pick in this draft class. It helps Danny Dimes. It helps Saquon Barkley. So I also consider J.C. Horn because he's a good scheme fit for Joe Judge. And I know that they just invested in Adoree Jackson, but really you could never have enough corners. Ultimately, I went with Vera-Tucker here. And then at 16, Arizona Cardinals. Boy, I really wanted Jalen Waddle, and I went J.C. Horn. Just the corner position's really bad in Arizona. And it was hard to justify adding Jalen Waddle after they had A.J. Green. They got D-Hop. They got Christian Kirk. They also have Andy Isabella. They could go for a deep threat later in the draft. They really do need to address corner. That's just a position they have ignored. So really, I think the only quality starter they have is Byron Murphy, but he was playing a majority in the slot. J.C. Horn, he's just a great scheme fit. He knocked it out of the park at his pro day. So, yeah. Then I have a trade here. I got the Raiders trading down, and actually the Tennessee's Titans trading up to get Jalen Waddle. I'm the Raiders here, and I kind of know who I want, so I traded down, hoping maybe we could get him later. So Tennessee, they brought in Josh Reynolds, who could play outside, he could play in the slot, but Jalen Waddle just gives them a tremendous threat there with A.J. Brown. What he can do after the catch, how he can stretch the field, it's just dangerous. I think it's worth it for the Titans to trade up and go ahead and take Waddle. I like this a lot. Then the Miami Dolphins, I was really hoping for Waddle to be there. I was like, man, he's falling. That's great. That didn't work out. Tennessee jumped him because they knew Miami was probably going to take him. So I ended up going edge rusher. I went with probably one of my guys, one of my favorite guys in this class, Azeez Ojulari. The Dolphins, they lost two of their top 3 pass rushers this offseason. One being released, the other being traded. They didn't really add to that position, so I think they'll probably address that early in this draft, whether it's with the second first-round pick or somewhere in the second round. I chose to do it here. They could add receiver, but again, receiver deep draft. I'm going to go ahead and use one of these picks to grab one of these guys with these high-end traits. Azeez Ojulari, he had like a 24% win rush in the past, so the guy is phenomenal. He is one of my favorite guys in this class. Bit undersized, did put on weight though. He's close to that 150, but he is just crafty. He just bends the edge. It's just, he's got that it factor. He's just special. So I wanted that for the Dolphins. So I'm liking the Dolphins drafts thus far. And then at 19, I got the Washington football team going JOK. And the more I thought about this, the more I really love this pick. Because he's a guy you can line up in the slot if you want. Because he is speedy enough to keep up with those guys in the slot. But you could also play him kind of weak side linebacker. He could do a lot of cool things for you. I mean, I think this enables Washington to really get really creative with their defense, bringing Landon Collins maybe closer into the box and just having him be kind of like this jumbo safety to some degree, because they actually got some quality safety talent on that team. So they don't have to put Collins back there necessarily, who I would contest that there's probably some better coverage guys there in the secondary. But I just like this as a good fit. Guy you could really move around along the line of scrimmage. Guy's just phenomenal. I love him in coverage. And then at 20, the Chicago Bears really wanted a quarterback. Didn't happen. We could have traded up, but again, we all like the first round quarterbacks were gone at pick 11. So instead, I just went with replacing Bobby Massey at right tackle with Tevin Jenkins. The guy is an absolute mauler. Just throws people around. So he could come in. He's got his most of his experience is at right tackle, so you plug him in just immediately. And then at 21, I have the Green Bay Packers trading up to get Greg Newsome. I was like, I think I have a trade here. Yeah, so the Packers, it's tough to tell what the Packers would do. With the Colts, it was really easy. I was like, they're probably going to trade this pick down. It's Chris Ballard. He kind of does that. So I had them trade down. The Packers, I figured they didn't really do anything in free agency because they were too focused on just trying to get make some room with their salary. They brought back Aaron Jones. However you think about that, it is what it is. You could say they could go tackle. They could go a variety of different spots, but I think they really need help in the secondary, and it doesn't help that I'm not positive yet what John Barry's going to run on defense. Is he going to maybe be more press, maybe more man heavy? I don't know. So why not grab a guy that could kind of do both of those things? Greg Newsome, I know he's coming from a zone heavy off coverage scheme there at Northwestern, but he's got the length, he's got the speed, great acceleration. You almost feel like that he's not scheme dependent. So this is a guy I think that is going to go a lot higher than anyone will project. I think he could sneak into that top 20. So I got the Packers trading up to grab him. And then at 22, the Raiders, man, they get their guy, Trevor Merrick. I knew I wanted him for the Raiders immediately because they'd really done nothing at safety. So I was like, maybe we just trade down. That's probably the best ideal thing to do for Las Vegas. So we did that. We grabbed our guy. Now you got your free safety there, your deep guy. And then the Jets take Kwity Paye, man. Kwity Paye, he is the top edge, probably going to be the top edge on my board. And he really just fits Robert Saleh. The dude's big, he's physical. He's got insane movement skills for a guy his size and explosiveness. Pair him up across from Carl Lawson. That is a scary pass rush. For the first time, potentially, it's no sure thing, but for the first time in forever, the Jets, you have some pass rush. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. And then at 24, Pittsburgh Steelers take Caleb Farley. So Caleb Farley, it came out, he was having some minor surgery on his back. I think really just to clean it up, I have to look more into that, but he has had issues in the past with his back. So hearing that he was going through some surgery, minor surgery, it was like, you don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that the back could be such a crippling issue to have. And it doesn't help that he's not able to work out. He's not able to showcase just what people assume would make him a top 10 corner in this class, because he does have those traits. He has the length, the speed, the size. Now you're a bit more concerned because he also, keep in mind, he opted out in 2020. 2019, he was extremely productive, elite even, but 2018 he wasn't nearly as good. So 2019, we're working with a guy that really only had elite production in 1 year. So I think this is going to hurt him. I don't know. I don't think it knocks him out of the first round, though. He's still probably going to be like maybe even the second still corner on my board, maybe third, fourth. I'm going to really have to go back and look at this. But Steelers get a guy that, hey, he can play press man. He projects well given his length and speed. So, honestly, could be a great steal. They did just get release Steven Nelson. So, yeah. Jacksonville Jaguars. They go Zaven Collins. Joe Schubert wasn't exactly good in year one, but none of the Jacksonville defense really was. Still, Zaven Collins, you get a guy who has a similar skill set to Joe Schubert. Oh, but at I think you get maybe move on from that contract after this year then. With Zaven Collins, he could be an immediate replacement. He is adequate in coverage. He can rush the passer. And keep in mind, this is all at 260, so you gotta love it. You gotta love it. So Jacksonville gets that. I was considering maybe receiver here, but I really wanted to help the defense out on it. I don't want to go too offensive heavy early, because Trevor Lawrence, I feel like that already instant improvement on offense. And then at 26, Cleveland Browns, Jason Owe. This is kind of my fit here for him. I think the Browns will really, really love a guy that just flies off the edge. Just considering what they went after in free agency to be across from Garrett with McKinley and such. So I think they're going to love this dude's straight line speed. He's really going to knock it out of the park at his pro day. And even better, he was extremely good this past season in run defense. So you're getting a good run stopper, not just this pass rush only speed demon. And then at 27, the Baltimore Ravens go Rashad Bateman. They're kind of the bigger receiver there, but Bateman, he's phenomenal. He should go a lot earlier than this. But based on just the NFL, doesn't sound like they're going to be nearly as high on him. I don't think he makes it into the second round, but again, this is the NFL draft. Good prospects fall. That's just what happens. And then the New Orleans Saints. This one was tough, but I went with Elijah Moore. I really would have liked going corner here, get a corner 2 across from Lattimore. Didn't work out. So I just went with a guy that could be just a mean vertical threat in the slot. Just great route runner, very polished route runner, and he plays extremely physical at the catch point too. So whoever's at quarterback there, they just got a disgusting weapon to be there, along with Michael Thomas. So yeah, I like it, but I don't know, man. It's really tough. I wanted I was considering maybe linebacker, but I ended up not going with that, just because the next one on my list is Nick Bolton. I don't know how high the NFL will be on him. I'm not there yet when it comes to Jamin Davis being a first round pick. I just don't think it. And then my next corner on the board is probably Asante Samuel Jr. and literally his size, even his length, you kind of concerned about because he's got like a little over 30-inch arms. And I talk all that good crap about Aaron Robinson, like no corner plays on the outside with 30-inch arms. And then Asante Samuel came in, measured that, and I was like, man, I mean, he's so athletic and he plays very physical. You like to think that he can, but are you willing to bet on that in the first round? I don't think so. So we went with Elijah Moore. Just throwing out my thoughts. And then at 29, the Colts, they go Gregory Russo. This guy has the potential to be a freak athlete with his frame. I can't wait to really see him at his pro day. Which, when is his pro day? Just out of curiosity. Here it is. March. Oh, it's Monday. Ooh. So I can't wait to see his pro day. See him work out. Again, I think taking the year off really probably hurt him because we don't know how he's developed. Because a lot of that was him developing technique, and just becoming a better at bending the edge. Because where he won a lot was on the interior, making these inside moves. But hey, maybe he has improved in that. But yeah, I think he might have a fall. I feel better about him in this 20 to 25, 20 to 30 range. So I think the Colts would be willing to take a chance on him, especially after they acquired so many picks. And then Buffalo Bills, tough, but I went with Jalen Phillips. Again, for me, the concussions are a concern, especially when you play in the trenches. They're, for me, way more concerning. This guy's going to take a lot of hits to the head. That's just how the trenches are in the NFL. So you're going to worry about head injuries. I know it's been a couple of years of that, since his consecutive concussions, having to retire, but still, it's a red flag for me. He does have this top 15 type of just upside in terms of being an athlete and just the power. Very good at converting speed to power. Very nimble too. He gets really small and can fit through on these inside moves. He can just fit through gaps. There's a lot to like about him, but then, I mean, you look at his production this past season. It really all came in the second half of the season. He didn't have the best game against Christian Darrisaw, who's obviously a top 15 pick. So I do have a bit of concerns there. I feel better about this. I know Buffalo, they brought back Mario Addison, but still, I think improve the improve the pass rush. They could have gone a variety of different ways here. I'd prefer to go defense. I wouldn't mind getting an actual cornerback too. I know they brought Levi Wallace back, but they also played a bit more man last season. Which Wallace, he's more of a zone corner. So if they are going to start committing more to more man coverage, I don't think it's a bad idea maybe bringing in a guy like if a Caleb Farley makes it down here some way, somehow, or trading up. So it just didn't happen that way. So we went with the edge rush. Phillips, he's got a ton of potential, a ton of upside. You're really getting good value here. So yeah, not Najee Harris here. Not Najee Harris. 31. It is the Chiefs. They go Samuel Cosmi. I think they get their left tackle. Cosmi just was phenomenal at his pro day. Really showed off why you consider this guy should be considered a first round pick. You do worry a little bit about technique, especially when it comes to handling power. That was kind of an issue for him in college, and I think more so it's not because he's weak, because he's actually very strong. It's just playing a bit stronger, just using his hands a bit better, getting better leverage. Or at least not letting edge rushers get such good leverage. So there's concerns there, but he's a phenomenal prospect. the Chiefs would, I think you get an immediate starter there, depending on where Lucas Nyane is in his development, because he did opt out this past season. But you can put him at right tackle. You have Mike Remmers, who can play either tackle spot. It just gives you a lot more options, and I like that. And then we have a running back, Najee Harris, going to the what do you call this team? The Buccaneers, the Tampa Brady Buccaneers. Essentially, it's a luxury pick. Didn't really know where I could go here, so I feel like if a running back's gonna go the first round, like the Bucs might take one. They don't necessarily need to. They could probably, honestly, they could bring Leonard Fournette back. It doesn't sound like the market's extremely big for him, but Najee Harris is just Leonard Fournette, but a bit better in my opinion. So yeah, they grab him here. They got a running back there to pair with Rojo or Keshawn Vaughn, maybe. I don't know where they're gonna go with that. But yeah, this is the draft. I think it's solid. I could probably pick out a few places where Packers fans are never happy with my pick, so that's already, you could throw that in the garbage. Even though Newsom's a good fit, I would, maybe people will have something to say about Jalen Waddle falling, but we saw it last year, so it could happen. So calm down. Elijah Vera Tucker, but I think this is very reasonable. It seems like a lot of people are very high on Tucker in terms of being a top 20 to top 15 prospect. So Christian Barmore, I think, is probably going to be the most hated. But Niners fans, you can't deny it. It makes sense, and it sounds like something y'all would do. So get off my back. If y'all want to take a look at the trades, I tried to make them fair, but also I had to get Draft Network. If you ever dealt with Draft Network and their trades, it could be kind of wonky in trying to get them to accept it. So I'll go over a few of these here. I'm actually gonna, I'll keep it this size. So very simple. They picked up a second round pick, the Bengals, to move up. I mean, if you think the Panthers giving up their second round pick is kind of nothing if you're doing it for the quarterback position. So didn't really mind that too much. The Bengals, they were able to trade down, get their guy, and get another early second round pick. So they could, I just think it's good. It's good. With that second trade here, the Giants and the Patriots. Of course, I got the Patriots giving up a third rounder, but they do exchange 6 rounders because I felt like the third round was a bit much to move up 4 spots. But again, it's moving up for quarterback. It's moving up to 11, which is still pretty high. So I had them just kind of exchanging 6 rounders, maybe to even it out. But yeah, this one was very tough to do, but I ended up what it cost the Vikings to move up was 2 4th rounders, but they get a 7th rounder in exchange of that. Looking back, I mean, it might be similar to what Tampa and the Bucs did just in the 2020 draft, but that's just me trying to remember off the top of my head. I could be completely wrong about that and speaking out my butt. This one, Tennessee Raiders. So basically, the Raiders, what they're basically turned their 4th rounder into a 3rd rounder, and then also acquiring a 5th rounder. So essentially, what the Tennessee Titans did to get Jalen Waddle was they just turned their 3rd into a 4th, their second 3rd into a 4th, while giving up a 5th as well. So they had the capital to do it, though. And then this final trade, Packers and the Colts. So what the Colts get, they basically they grab a 4th and then they exchange 5ths, which now the Packers they will get a higher 5th, while the Colts, they get a 4th, an extra 4th, while just trading down a few spots in the 5th round. So feel however way you want about the trades. It is what it is. But that's it for the video. Thank you for hanging out with me. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. You're going to see code BROSCHMO up there. If you don't know what it is by now, then don't know what to say. But till next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.